There's something very poignant to me about being on this side of this graveyard today. I honestly never thought that I would be standing here. I didn't ever think that I would get to turn 45 years old. I never thought that I would be standing here and filming myself talk to millions of people about recovery. Never. It didn't start this way for me, I can guarantee you. But you know, it's never how we start. It's always how we finish. That's all that matters. And I urge you, wherever you are in this process today, remember, the journey to recovery starts before abstinence. It comes over time. Everything is happening little by little throughout time. We don't just wake up one day and decide we got to go to treatment. It's been working on our hearts. And we just wake up and get the guts to go one day. But I want you to stop guilting yourself over how many times it has taken you. Do you got it? Are you ready to get it? That's what we're going to examine today in this video. What are your reasons why? Are they a must to you? That's the only way that lasting change is truly created and long lasting and not fleeting. We're used to fleeting changes. Changes made with our head only. Changes made from guilt and shame. I'm talking about integrating your head and your heart for full and complete healing. That's what it's about. That's real recovery. So, I want to get you into this week's video. This is what we're going to talk about. I hope that it makes sense to you. I hope something resonates with you and touches your spirit. I pray that there's something in this video that you can use to change and transform your entire life. That's my only prayer and my only goal. So, if you do get it, please drop it down into the comments. I love to hear what's really resonating with people. And also, please make sure, I love it when you like the video, watch the videos, but please subscribe as well. Please like, please subscribe, and really please hit the little bell notification down there so that you never miss a video that we put up. It's once a week right now, but I made that declaration that within 6 months, this next 6 months, we're going to go to making videos every single day. I am believing that that's the way that this is going to go. You know, because I know today I am a co-creator in my life and my reality. Nothing has meaning until I give it meaning. So I can either live by my old paradigms, which say nothing works out, or I can adopt something new that says everything is always working out for me. So guys, enjoy the video. Make sure you comment, like, subscribe, and get notified. And I want to thank you. Thanks for helping me grow this baby channel, because one day this will be a giant for the recovery community. I love you guys. I thank you so much. Enjoy the video. Hey guys, and welcome to the RiseUp Recovery YouTube channel. I am your host, LC. I am the founder of Hope and Recovery Network. A lot of you know me from my 5 morning a week motivational videos that I do over on Facebook. That's Lona Currie, LONACURRIE, at facebook.com. You can follow me at Hope in Recovery Network on Instagram. And right here, the Rise Up Recovery channel. Rise Up is one word you must know because you found me here. I also want to ask you to please like and subscribe. Make sure you get notified when we put up new videos. I really enjoy being able to share my life experience and recovery with all of you. It is amazing when we connect together as other human beings in a common mission to stamp out an addiction problem that has been allowed to run rampant for far too long. So whatever you're recovering from today, what we're going to get into is talking about changing your paradigms, your default programming, and how to begin to really make lasting, complete, healing changes in our lives. What that looks like in recovery and all of that good stuff. I really want to urge you to make very, very, very sure that you are getting out into nature and sharing your life with all of God's creations. You know, we're not the only creation that's out here. You know, it's all made to work together. If we look at everything around us that was created, we're all like a machine. Everything works with each other. And when we connect with that, we're flowing at a way and a rate inside of us that is really complete and whole. And we need that balance. It is the balance between source and us, between God and us, that bring us into full integration and healing in our recovery and in our lives. We say recovery and automatically it's always put with drug and alcohol recovery and addiction, but it's not that. You know, the drug, the alcohol, the gambling, the food, whatever the addiction is, that is a byproduct of a far larger issue that already existed there. In fact, when we learn to shift our thinking, which is how we change those paradigms, we begin to shift our focus and perspective, and we are able then to see the addiction for the blessing that it truly has been. My addiction shed light and forced me into a place of healing. Without that, had I lived in denial all my life, had I just continued to drudge through without a disease that almost killed me and did try its best, I would not have gotten to the place where I began to search out my root causes of addiction and yank them up and fill those places with new, empowering connection and self-love and self-awareness and a realization of the God in me and all that was really meant for us to experience in this life. It's not just about get good job, stay there 40 years, retire, pension, Social Security. It's not just about all of that. And if that's the way someone finds their true happiness, please understand, I'm not knocking it. That would be amazing to find true happiness so uncomplex, you know? For me, it's always been complex. I'm a complex individual. You know, a lot of us are that are afflicted with this disease. We tend to be overthinkers. We tend to be highly creative, passionate people. We tend to have hidden gems and gifts and talents in us that we just cannot see through whatever has happened in our lives that helped us create these paradigms of where we focus in life. At some point, in order to live a different kind of life, we have to begin to recognize those breakdowns and change them. And the greatest thing about it all is that change is available to each and every one of us. It also does not discriminate, just like addiction doesn't discriminate. The answer can't discriminate if the disease doesn't. You feel that? You know what I'm saying? So the cause, the cure can't be weaker than the cause, or, vice versa, whatever. I believe this opioid epidemic has come through our country at a time when addiction had honestly become popular almost, and that it was so in the shadows that the opioid epidemic brought it to the light. I believe it was an act of God, not that he created it, but that he's using it for a mighty movement of reconnecting and having people come more in relationship, with him as they see him, her, the God of our creation. And so there's so many amazing things that can come from this, and I believe that that is the purpose. When we seek to find the purpose in our pain, the pain loses its power over us. You see, when we stop and wonder, what can I gain from this, versus just tallying up all that we lose, we bring ourselves into a different mindset and a new track of life. That's what full recovery is about. It's about not denying your past, not denying or pretending like you don't have issues, and definitely not denying that you've been through powerful, powerful, powerful tragedies. There is nothing in here excusing any of that. What it really is a true acceptance of you and integrating these parts of you, all of these different parts. It's about bringing it all into being one beautifully flawed, cracked pot, and one that shines the most beautiful light once illuminated. And that full healing that comes about from learning to love you is something that's undescribable in words. My passion is that you come to a place where you begin to experience it for yourself. And I pray that something will help you get there earlier in your recovery than I did. I suffered for a lot longer than I had to, but I didn't know where to find this information. My point and my goal is to try to bring it to you. Bring this information of enlightenment and awareness into our recovery community. Let's do a little less white knuckling and a little more healing and integrating. And we're going to change the way the world sees recovery, addiction, and the way the world recovers for generations to come. That's what I want my legacy to be. I want to know I was a part of that. I want to know that I took one of the most trying episodes of my life, mixed it with all of the other trying episodes of my life, and made something beautiful and positive out of it. That people know me for trying to heal a community, to heal human nature, to heal a broken world. What an amazing legacy that is. And so when we get into stepping into this lifestyle, we have to visit what's called paradigms. Now, Paradigm is a big word, which really just basically means our default programming, our default mindsets that are really what's blocking a lot of our recovery and life success. We develop these things through all of the circumstances we live through. We begin to develop our belief system when we are just very small children from the people that are around us. During those times, we adopt their beliefs. We're not born self-loathing. We're not born hating. We're not born guilty. We aren't born underneath. And so what begins to happen is we begin like sponges to absorb the beliefs and the ambiance of everything around us that's most prevalent in our lives. And from there, we begin to form our beliefs about all details of the world: money, family, job, securities, goals, dreams, standards, wealth, abundance, prosperity. And however you end up experiencing that is how you bring that over into your life. Some of the reasons that we can't seem to get ahead when we want to so bad and we get convinced that nothing ever works out for me is because of our old subconscious default programming. So now that we kind of know what that is and what it means, now let's talk about the ways in which we begin to change those paradigms, that default programming, and the way we begin to become present in our lives, and the way we begin to awaken our dreams and passions and how we go forth in that. This is where you might want to grab a pen and a piece of paper, because when we really are learning something and we connect it on an emotional level, that's when we actually learn something. See, knowledge is not power until it makes that connection. Then it becomes a memory. And when it becomes a memory, it means it's yours, and you can play it over and over and over in your mind, in your head, as many times as you want. You own it. It's downloaded to you. When we take the time to write those moments down, we then solidify it even more, and we make it even more real to ourselves. Because see, here's what I got to tell you. This isn't going to change overnight. And trust me when I tell you, I have sought out every quick fix there was in recovery possible. And I urge you to beware of any program that tells you we can fix you easily. There's no way to get this without doing the work. I'm so sorry to have to tell you that, but there's really not. No one else can recover for you, nor can you recover for anyone else. You cannot create in anyone else's universe. So it's best if you just turn the camera inward and begin with the person that's looking back at you in the mirror. That's where it all starts. And so to begin to do that, we have to begin to put new things in our experience. We've got to put new things in our minds. I want you to do a little exercise. Okay, it's real quick, won't take very long. I want you to examine what it is that you do. What is your routine? What is your everyday routine? What are some of your habits? What do you watch constantly on television? What is your go-to on your movies choices? What kind of things are you watching? Because a lot of the reason I'm asking this, and I ask you to write it down. Look, I have many of these little notebooks that I carry around with me everywhere, all the time. I've always got a notebook. And, you know, I don't know if I call what I do journaling. I don't sit down with my notebook every single solitary day and make time to write about every day. But what I do use it for is to write down when things connect with me. What it was, when, you know, what I got from it. It has allowed me to go back over and see how far I've come and what's working and what isn't. And it helps me form brand new strategies. And so when we're trying to shift and change those old paradigms, it's very vital to actually know where you are, where you stand. And so I urge you to really take a moment to write that down. What are your daily routines? What is it that you're doing day in and day out? How is it that you feel about this routine? What's good about it? What do you not like about it? Why? You're going to come to find out that your reasons why are going to be what decide your success or failure at this. And remember this too, failures are never bad because failures are never permanent. Failures are wonderful, wonderful ways to learn how to make things work better for you. So you got to stop being angry and upset when you fail and know that it is actually a prize and a privilege to fail as long as you fail forward and learn from it, get back up, and get back to moving. So what are you letting into the vortex of your mind? What are you filling your mind, body, and spirit with? What is it? I used to have a habit of watching shows because I came off the street. So in my days out in the street, I had become a pretty decent criminal simply because I always studied the police. I didn't study the guy that was, you know, hustling with me. I studied the guys that were my opponents, what I saw as my opponent. And so in doing that, and at one time I actually wanted to be a detective. So, you know, it all kind of came together the way, I don't know, it was supposed to. But I would study my opponent. So I was always trying to think ahead of the police. So when I started really changing my mind and what I fed myself and all of that stuff, I started realizing I watch a lot of detective shows. I watch a lot of things about homicides and the minds of evil people and acts, all this stuff. And I never actually had put it together that it was affecting every area of my life. It wasn't just entertainment. This stuff was carrying on a paradigm that was fully at work in my life and was drastically holding me back from the success that I was looking for. Not because the shows were bad, not because the content was bad, but because it was no longer who I needed to be in order to get where I wanted to go. So I had to start changing those things. I had to begin to find things that educated me and grew my mind and my heart and that talked about the things that I was trying to achieve in my life and talked about all the ways that I could battle my mind and create different strategies and the blueprints and all of that. And I became almost obsessed with it. I tell everyone that my recovery coach was Joyce Meyer. I had found out about her because years earlier, at the age of 16, I used to be a terrible cutter in my life. I was a mutilator, a self-mutilator, and it was because being so trapped in a body that I did not feel comfortable in, and I hated, and just because of all that had happened, I held on to my secret so much that the only way I could release my emotion was to harm myself, to see that release. And so I had been sent to a Christian girls' home in West Monroe, Louisiana. Talk about torture. At that moment, I was forced to wear a dress every day, forced to quit school because we didn't do regular school or ever hardly leave the house. We learned about the Bible all day, every day. Now, for a transgendered person going through puberty, this was an awful form of torture. But I didn't really know how to identify myself, so it was just a very rough time. But it was there that I was introduced to Joyce Meyer's Battlefield of the Mind. So in my desperation of where do I turn, how do I shift these paradigms, what do I do, where do I reach out, I found Joyce Meyer's podcast. I would put my earbuds in when I got to work. I would work all day and just listen to her over and over and over and over and relate to every one of her messages. I could relate in my life. And so I then began to start putting that stuff in practice. I had realized that I had began to hear it so much that I was noticing my mindset begin to shift. My perspectives begin to shift. And through her and the suggestions from the podcast, and then I would find her on YouTube, suggestions from YouTube would show me others like her, and that's how it all began. So you've got to get out and you've got to find what resonates with you. Find someone who inspires you, and then dive in with everything you've got. Drown out those old paradigms until they shift in certain ways on their own, and you create a momentum of seeing result and then getting excited for more. So that's how we begin to change our default programming, our paradigms. The second way we've got to do it is we've got to stay motivated. You've got to make your reasons why you are going to succeed and achieve this new level of thinking, this next level recovery. You have got to make sure that your reasons are far bigger than your excuses not to. Your reasons why gotta be solid. And they've got to be so special to you that no matter how bad, I call it your one thing. You got to have that one thing. I don't care if it's a person, a situation, a probation officer, a prison sentence, a death sentence if you don't. Whatever it has to be, you've got to make that reason your one thing that's going to make you hold on to recovery with everything you've got when all you want to do is give up. When it would be so much easier just to let go and fall back down into the pit. You got to have your one thing. So make your reasons why bigger than your excuses for why not. My one thing was my son. He was a teenager. I refused to be a hypocrite. I refused to go through life telling him things, what to do and what not to do, and I was not going to tell him, do as I say, not as I do. And so I used that as my one thing. During that time, his mom was in a relapse. I was barely trying to stay clean. I was barely getting this stuff, you guys. Barely. I was just diving into it. In fact, the desperation of coming from being on the other side of addiction now, being the family member of someone fully addicted. And the worry and the pacing and the anticipation of that phone call and the stress, and I'm trying to keep my son from it, trying to help him navigate high school as he's just starting high school. We all know what a hard time that is. And so I was also having to keep a roof over our heads, remain compliant in my own program, and I was, I was doing it, but feeling as though I was failing miserably. But it was during those white knuckle times that my reasons why had to be so spot on. They had to mean so much to me, because you all know that the promise I made my grandfather on his deathbed to get my life together and change my life was a promise that meant a whole lot to me. But having to look my son in the face every single day and having these conversations with him in my head about the decisions, about stepping into those triggering thoughts that were coming at me, I would sit down and have a real life conversation with him in my mind. I would say, okay, son, I tried my best. I couldn't do it no matter what. So I'm going to go back to using, and we'll be able to stay in this house for probably about a month before they kick us out. We'll draw it out. And, then from there, you will have to either be placed with, Department of Social Services, or your Mimi, or your grandmother or family in Alabama. And, we did the best we could, son, and I'm just sorry. That's the kind of conversation I would have with him in my head during those trigger times, and it would bring me out. And so I would vividly, in that vivid visualization, I would let those feelings and emotions click with those ideas and that mind, and I was changing my paradigms. I was learning to respond versus simply reacting. Addiction is fueled by reactions. Recovery is fueled by responses. And so I was learning to respond in that time. And it was all because of my reasons why. So the last point I'll touch on in this video tonight is simply making sure that you stay motivated in this. And a good way to stay motivated is to hook up with people that are living the life you long to live. Plain and simple. Find like-minded people. Birds of a feather flock together. And find like-minded people. Find people on this recovery track. This new thought leading next level recovery track. Find other people there. Find some with time. If you're the smartest and funniest person in your group, then you need to find a new group, because we evolve by the people we put around us or surround ourselves with. And so, I'm not suggesting you just turn your back and walk away from everyone. What I'm suggesting is you keep yourself motivated. Keep yourself inspired. Seek things, resources, books to read, articles to read, projects to do. Keep yourself motivated in moving forward in that new recovery lifestyle. And always, always be in search of that thing that is inside of you, that is your passion, how you want to contribute to this mighty recovery movement. Remember, it's not all about alcohol and drug addiction. It's about recovering from eating disorders and self-mutilation disorders and depression and trauma and post-traumatic stress disorder and all of those things. That's what recovery really encompasses. And so find what keeps you moving forward, and you will awaken the greatness that is inside of you. You are valuable and greatness lives in you. And everything you need to success and create a new, beautiful life already lives in you. God created you as the unique, beautiful, amazing soul that you are. And I urge you to live your authentic truth, whatever that looks like. You know, for me, I am finally conquering the fear of what others will think and stepping into who I know is truly Elsie, who is truly Lona Curry, and who has always been. And every day that I wake up and I run to the mirror and I get to see my body matching my mind and heart and spirit, it's a beautiful day for me. Your truth is probably not being transgendered. I'm not saying that. That's not what it's about. It's not about the label. It's about that beautiful integration of becoming who you truly are and taking your place on the battle line of this recovery revolution and making a difference. No matter what that is or what it looks like to other people, no matter how small or big you think it is all valuable. I say this a lot, and I'll stand by it. Even the smallest pebble dropped in the water makes a huge ripple effect. So whether you're driving people to treatment, whether you're shaking hands at a 12-step meeting or any other type of recovery meeting, whether you're serving the coffee, whether you are providing a place for people to have venues and programs, whether you're putting together those programs, whether you have a YouTube channel, whether you are a Facebook influencer, regardless of what you're doing, or whether you are becoming the best parent to your children that you possibly could be, nothing is greater or bigger in this movement. It takes all of us together. Diversity is necessary for everyone who suffers to be reached. Remember, if you feel some kind of way about someone else, where you're feeling like you want to judge, it's a great indication of maybe something God wants to show you in you that still needs to be dealt with. That's what God has always told me that I represent in this movement, of why He chose to use me, is because I may bring up a place in some people of prejudice that they didn't even realize they had, and that could be holding them back in the full and total healing of their life. Also, I help people see that I'm a human being on a human journey, having a human experience, just like all of you. I pray that something that I say here inspires you to find your unique truth and boldly live it, whatever that means. I want to thank you so much for all the ways that you guys support me. I thank you for growing this channel. It's a baby, it's a learning experience, but I'm going to tell you what, one day very soon, we're going to reach everyone who needs to be reached for recovery, for personal development, for success. This is just the beginning, guys. So I appreciate you getting in here while I'm young, while I'm learning, and being patient with me, because it means so much to me. This is my passion, and sharing it with you all fills me overflowing with joy and peace. So please make sure that if you haven't already, that you like and you subscribe to my channel, that you like the video, and that you hit the little bell notification so that you never miss when we put a video up. please, if you have a topic that you would like for me to discuss, if you have a story you would like to help tell, that you would like to come on and tell, please drop it down in the comments. I love reading your comments. They really help me so much. I always want to be talking about something relevant in your recovery and your life, and because my passion is to help heal, plain and simple. From one broken person to another, I know it's possible. I pray that it motivates you to know it's possible for you as well. So make sure you like and subscribe to our channel. Hit the bell notification. Make sure that you get over to Facebook, to Lona Curry at facebook.com, 5 mornings a week at 7:40 a.m. Eastern Standard Time for my morning motivation, our Motivation Monday, our Triumphant Tuesday, our Hump Day Live, our Transformation Thursday, and our Thank God It's Friday Live. Also, join us Saturday evenings at 6 p.m. Eastern, right there on the same Facebook channel where I do a live group on Saturday evenings. And then as well, always go to YouTube on Sunday nights at 8 p.m. Eastern for the live premiere of this Rise Up Recovery channel right there on YouTube, because I like to premiere these videos and be able to live chat with you as we watch them together, in case you have questions or need more explanation on something or whatever, whether you just want to say whatever. And so follow me as well at Hope in Recovery Network on Instagram. Guys, I got a new battle planner that is coming out, which is a daily recovery planner that is really, I think, going to enrich your journey, help you create strong blueprints and strategies to get out in front of things in your recovery so that you're not trying to fight from underneath. And that's going to be out within the next 2 months. And we're making new pages, we're growing in leaps and bounds, and it's all because of you guys. So thank you. From the bottom of my heart, I am Elsie, your motivator. I am honored and grateful to be a part of your journey, and I thank you all for being a part of mine. Now go have an amazing week. Be bold, confident, self-aware, and learn to love you. I love you guys. Have an amazing week. Goodbye.